Hi everyone, my name is Laura and welcome back to my channel. Yes, I'm wearing a wig today because my hair underneath looks like crap. So it was wig time. Today's video is going to be a little bit different because I want to have a conversation about whether the manga craze is finally dying down. And the short answer to that question is yes, to some extent. But this wasn't something that is, a surprise. Manga publishers are very aware that after such a big manga boom during lockdown, things are gonna go down a little bit and then they're going to plateau. It was expected. It's the way economy works. But yeah, there has been a rise of videos, especially on TikTok, of people just selling everything, selling their whole entire manga collection, selling their figure collection, all their merch. And I can say from a social media standpoint, yeah, it's kind of dying down. But I'm not so disappointed as you might think I would be. In this video, I'm mostly going to talk about manga collecting in TikTok as opposed to YouTube because those two platforms are completely different. And the way people interacted on those platforms was very different during lockdown. So TikTok saw a boom in a lot of influencers. Some people went from having just a few hundred followers to millions of followers during quarantine. So it was a whole different thing. And one of the areas that saw a lot of popularity very, very fast was in the anime manga, TikTok community. So a lot of people naturally saw that they would gain all these followers and all these views very easily because the community was so small in 2020 to 21. Maybe some got in 2022 and have, picked up a lot of followers, but 2020, 2021 was definitely the 2 years to get into anime manga TikTok and build a platform, like a very solid platform. So yeah, there's naturally always going to be what we call clout chasers, and some people did see that others were gaining a very large following very quickly. So it's natural for those people to jump on the bandwagon and start posting that content and then build that platform on that content. And once they get sick of it, then they just switch up their platforms into like fashion or vlogs or some other thing. As someone who has been creating social media content for over a decade, I've seen this so many times. So many times, and it's just to be expected, honestly. To me, it's very funny that people got into anime and manga just to build a big following because a lot of people like my age were teased and bullied for liking these things. So all of a sudden during lockdown, things just changed. Like what we used to get bullied for suddenly became the cool thing to post about. And yeah, like it was wild. It was really, really wild. I mean, there's some good things that came out of the anime and manga boom, and then some bad things. The bad things I would say definitely, people that were just clout chasing, posting because they found it an easy way to build a large platform. You also had, just some sketchy people as well that joined the community. Manga resellers just taking advantage of new manga collectors, marking things as out of print just to fool these new manga collectors. Just, a general douchebaggery. That's what I'm gonna call it. General douchebaggery, because there's no freaking reason why people would have to list their Nana volumes as out of print and reselling them for hundreds of dollars when they're now in stores. They're, in stock. Yes, a lot of things were going out of stock very rapidly. You had Jujutsu Kaisen that went completely out of stock for a few months. Chainsaw Man, Hell's Paradise, Spy Family as well. Just, the very popular series because of their anime adaptations or just because of the hype as well. And again, there were people marking those volumes as out of print instead of out of stock, which are completely different things. Out of print means exactly what the term is. It's out of print. No one's currently printing that series. Like, Zip, that's it. If it got printed in the 90s and it's out of print, yeah. All the volumes that you'll find were printed in the 90s, maybe early 2000s. Out of stock means exactly that. It's no longer in stock, but it's still in print. So you'll just have to wait until they reprint and restock them. There was such a big demand for manga in 2020 to 2022 that you had the manga publishers just struggling to find other places where they could print their manga because the printers that they had at the time were just not able to keep up with the demand. And that proved quite difficult because it all happened during lockdown, so a lot of places were closed down. But they were eventually able to find printers that could accommodate printing manga, which is different from printing a traditional book. So they found printers in Canada, Italy, and also China as well. And that's part of the reason why you're seeing a lot of these series that used to be out of stock. They're much more readily available, and if they do go out of stock, the reprints happen a lot quicker than they used to. So as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, publishers were aware that things were going to kind of slow down a little bit, and then eventually business is going to plateau, which is expected. They were planning for this to happen because it has happened in the past as well, maybe not to the degree as it did during quarantine. But it's just the way that business works, especially right now when money is a little bit tighter. Of course, people are not going to be spending as much money on things like anime figures and manga and all these things that might be considered a little bit more trivial and not necessary for everyday life. In my opinion, I feel like a lot of people got into this community for the completely wrong reasons, whether it was just to build up a large following, just for the hype, or just to make a quick buck. So for me, I am more than happy for those people to be leaving this community because it means that those of us who truly enjoy anime and manga will keep enjoying these things without feeling like there's a scarcity issue. Like, I'm no longer feeling the pressure to rush out to Barnes & Noble to get the new release because I'm so scared that it's going to sell out. Like, now I can just like sit back, actually take my time reading through my collection, and then, you know, I can just go to, you know, Barnes & Noble, I can go to Walmart, I can go to Target. Like, there's more options where I can buy manga, and that's one of the good things that came out of this manga boom. Like, it's made manga and anime so accessible. You can go to Walmart and Target and even buy like anime merch. Like, you don't have to go to like specialized stores like a Box Lunch or a Hot Topic. I mean, this is Hot Topic, but like, you don't have to like scour around and like specifically look for merchandise anymore. Everything has become so accessible, which is great for longtime fans. I happen to be one of those collectors that really got into collecting manga, figures, merch, all that stuff during lockdown. So for me, it's kind of wild seeing how much things have changed. There was a point where I would go to Book Off and all you would see was like old series that I wasn't very familiar with, and now I can go to Book Off and you see stuff that's literally at Barnes & Noble. You see Chainsaw Man, you see Jujutsu Kaisen, you see like Attack on Titan, like all these series that were just never at Book Off because people would just buy them from, you know, from Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, all those places, and just like hoard them. Just keep them in their collections. I mean, you even had people buying multiple copies just to resell them at the time. So for me, it's a little bit crazy walking down the aisles of Book Off and seeing all these series that were once so hard to find. Just like people have completely given up on them. Like, completely given up. It's sad, but at the same time, I know someone that really wanted to read those series will buy those series, you know, secondhand. So they might end up going to a much better home. And that's like the silver lining of all the people that are selling off their collections and just completely over that lockdown hobby that they picked up. At least all these things will go to a much better home where they'll be appreciated a lot more. So I think that's where I'm gonna end the video because honestly, this is just a cycle. Like, the business part was to be expected after lockdown. With the social media thing, it was to be expected that people that got into this community and into collecting for clout or fame, they would eventually get sick of it and leave this community. So for me, like, bye. Less for them, more for true fans. At the end of the day, this community is going to keep loving manga and anime and seek out other people with similar interests so they can talk about their interests. Like, that's what it comes down to. So I personally will still be making anime, manga, rhythm game content. It makes me very happy to finally be able to create content that just truly makes me happy. So I'm not gonna go anywhere. I don't know about you guys, but I am certainly not gonna go anywhere. So I'm gonna keep enjoying my collection. It makes me happy to see everything like on my walls and all the mikus and everything. So there's that. If people just want to like leave and resell their stuff, let them. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter to me, but let me know what your thoughts are in the comments section below. Are you shocked? Are you sad? What are your opinions about people leaving this community and reselling everything? Let me know in the comments. If you're brand new, make sure to subscribe to keep up with my content, and I will see you guys very soon in my next video. Bye!